Hello and welcome back to week 2 of Teaching Online, Mr. Christensen's math class. Hopefully you got week 1 done. I got a number of you who got those assignments uploaded. That was great to see. Thank you very much for those of you taking part in this. Hopefully you're watching these videos. I made comments on a number of people's assignments, so please check Aries because it's clear that some of you did not watch the video, so we had a number of errors with the absolute value. Please go back and check that. Let me know if you got the notes or the comments. Go ahead and make whatever corrections. Some of you, I just went ahead and gave credit just to put it in the grade book. I try to go through there every morning on the weekdays and update your grades of anything that I got emailed to me or anything that you put uploaded to Aries directly. All right, this week's topic is going to be combining integers. So last week we went over what an integer is. We went over absolute value. Now we're going to go over how to combine them. What happens when you put these two sets of numbers together? Now again, I use combining. I don't say adding, I don't say subtracting. What you need to do, and it's going to be incredibly helpful when you're dealing with integers, is stop looking at problems as an addition or subtraction problem. Please, you need to start to get in the habit of not looking at math problems and actually seeing math problems. What I need you to start to do is get in the habit of look at a problem as a list of terms, a list of integers. Okay? For instance, if I give you this, what I would like you to do is stop looking at this as the problem -2 plus 3. What I would like you to do is start to see and list them as a -2 and a +3. Separate them out. Identify the pieces of the puzzle. It'll make it a whole lot easier as we start to combine things. That's why I'm not saying add integers or subtract integers, because I don't like using those words because they get confusing when we're dealing with integers because we're using new rules in math. Another example, if I give you 7 plus 3 minus 5 minus 10, get in the habit of seeing 4 terms. Very quickly, the first one, if there's no sign, we know it's automatically a positive, so it's +7. This one is a +3. This one is a -5. And this one is a -10. If it helps, draw boxes. That is an incredibly handy tool to use. Draw a box around the whole thing. And then every time you come to a symbol, addition or subtraction, positive or negative, simply draw a line right in front of it. Okay, so there's that positive, so I drew a line. Keep going. Here's a negative sign, so I'm going to draw a line. Keep going. Here's another negative. I'm going to draw another line. And the end. And you can see how it breaks it up. It forces you to see it, the +7, +3, -5, -10. Separate them out. Okay, because then when you're asked to put them together, it's going to make a whole lot more sense. So when we are combining integers, okay, we may have touched on this a little bit this year. We're going to be doing this integer work for the next couple of weeks. So we'll go through combining today and this week. Next week, multiplication, division. Week after that, using integers in order of operation. So now it's everything involved. Okay, so what we're looking at is 2 basic rules. Same sign, you get to add the values and keep the same sign. Okay? So if we have two positives or two negatives, if they are the same sign, we get to add those values together. Think of them as actual objects. For instance, if I give you, let's do this, 3 minus 7. Again, try not to look at it as a subtraction problem. Focus and look at the components. Draw my box around the whole problem. Here's a symbol. I already got my line there. Here's my next symbol, so I'm going to draw another line right here. And there's the end of the problem. So I have a -3 and a -7. Notice they're both negatives. They are the same sign. Again, try to think of them as objects. If you have 3 negatives and you put them together, combine them with 7 negatives, you should be able to see here's 1, 2, 3 negatives. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. This will give you a total of 10 negatives. If they're the same sign, you're allowed to put them together. And this is something you have done since kindergarten. When you had both positives, that's what you've always worked with. Because again, though, just to show you, to keep this consistent, what you actually are dealing with is a +2. Here's a symbol, so I'm going to draw my line, and a +3. So we are combining 2 positives here and 3 positives there. When we put that all together, we get a total of 5 positives. You can put that positive or not put that positive sign. That really doesn't matter. Okay. So when they are the same sign, you simply get to put them together. But again, it helps to look at it as a list. If you try to look at this as a subtraction problem, odds are you're going to miss it. Because when you first start doing these things, it is incredibly easy to miss. All right. Now, what happens if the signs are different? Different signs. So this was same sign. This is different signs. Here, and we're going to see why in a second, we are going to subtract the values. Keep sign of greater value. So whichever one had more, they get to keep its sign. And let's take a look at why. See 1 or 2 problems here on why that is. In fact, I'm going to use the same numbers here. Those weren't too bad to draw. So if I do 3 minus 7. Okay, that is the problem you're being presented. 3 minus 7. I'm going to draw my box. So instead of looking at 3 minus 7, I'm looking at 3. Here's I'm going to draw the box there. +3 and -7. Notice those are different signs. Now what we have going on though is we have 1, 2, 3 positives. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. Well, if you take a step forward and you take a step back, you're in the same spot. It didn't change anything. If your friend gives you $1 and then you got to give it back, you still have no money. Okay? If you have a positive and you put it together with a negative, they cancel each other out. So every time you have a partnership, every time you have a match, they go away. They cancel each other out. You're going to take this partnership away. You're going to take this team away. Oh, there's no more teams. I'm out of plus signs. I'm out of positives. Well, I took all those positives away. I subtracted them. So all I'm left with is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm left with 4 negatives. Okay. Now, the reason for this shortcut in saying this is because you do not want to draw this out when the numbers are in their 20s, 30s, or hundreds. So we learn the rule. 7 take away 3 is 4. There were more. 7 is bigger than 3, so there's more negatives, so that's what there's going to be leftovers of. Okay. Negative 2 plus 5. Now, we look at it, instead of an addition problem, we draw our box, we draw our dividing line so that we can see the two separate terms. We have a negative 2, we have a positive 5. We have to recognize they are different. If they're different, we're going to subtract. I can show you one last time here what happens, what you're actually seeing. You're having 2 negatives floating around. You have 5 positives floating around. Well, these two team up and disappear. These two team up and disappear. I'm left with 3 positives down here. And we just write that. Positives, 3 of them. And look, here's the shortcut. 5 take away 2 is 3. 5 was the greater number. It was positive, so it's a positive 3. All right. So that is what you're doing with today's lesson, this week's lesson. You're going to go through, you're going to show the work the best you can. You're going to identify the terms. You're going to identify if they're the same or different so that you know if they're the same, you add. If they're different, you subtract. You have to stop. You have to think about each problem. What tool are you going to use to do each problem? Okay, it's not like kindergarten anymore where if you saw a plus sign, you automatically knew to add. Because sometimes you'll see a plus sign, but you're going to subtract because they're different signs. You have to be careful. You have to take your time. Okay, so please make sure you do that. Please show the work on a separate sheet of paper. I would like to see each problem with the box around them, seeing that you separated out the terms so you can identify if they're the same or different so you know whether to add or subtract. All right, if you have any questions, please email me. Any concerns about any of this, email me. If you watch this video, drop a comment so that I know somebody's actually watching it. No one's commented at all yet. Hopefully everyone is staying safe. Stay inside. Don't be those people who go out and ruin it for the rest of us. I'd like to get back to some new form of normality. All right. Take care, and I will see or talk to you guys later. Bye.